It's been a sad year for the SoundCloud, hasn't it? I think we've gotten like basically no shoot the shit, fuck around podcasts and like 4-ish spoiler casts. So the SoundCloud that I pay every year for has been a little underutilized this year, but we're going to change that, I think, because we're launching a new podcast, which you know if you watched yesterday's video where I mentioned that. I think we have a name now. We were shooting a few ideas around in chat, and I did the tropey thing that everyone does, where you just mention a mechanic from something. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed, but like almost every D&D podcast, if it has an actual name, which we skipped over by just not having one, actually, our D&D series just didn't have a name because I just named it like a Let's Play. But it's always like critical roll or critical hit or critical miss or critical bits or dexterity save or dex throw or charisma check. Like, it's a bunch of like just words that are from the thing. And then I did the one that is a video game mechanic, most applicable not only to some of the users in the group, but also is fitting to a podcast idea. So I went with dialogue choices. And I'm like, all right, that kind of stuck. Like, people latched onto that one, and people said they liked that choice. And so I guess it's just enough people have approved of it within the group that I think that's what we're sticking with. And then you guys get to argue about whether dialogue should stop or at the G or continue for 2 more letters for no reason or not. Enjoy that debate. Like many debates, it will change nothing because I already made the email. So, yeah. So that's the main thing is, if you would like to send in emails to us in advance of the first episode to prompt us with questions or discussion topics and so on that you'd like to have covered and things like that, you can send an email to DialogChoicesPodcast@gmail.com. Dialog spelled Dialog. Yes, I have immediately caused myself grief by picking a name that has multiple different spellings potentially, and that's going to be fun. But just try not to lose your email it's just a filter. If you aren't competent enough to double check the name of the podcast, then your email doesn't make it in, I guess. And yeah, you can just send in whatever. Just ask questions to me and Andrew and Colonel RPG are the 3 main people that I believe are going to be involved, and I'm going to keep the door open for anyone else that decides to hop in and out, or if they just randomly show up in the middle of the podcast because we're just using the public chat room or not the public chat room, but like our group chat. Other people may or may not show up for episodes at a time here and there and take part in the whatever the hell this is. This will be another like free form thing, like the one I had with Andrew a couple years ago, and the several other ones before that, because this is like, at this point, it's probably like my 5th or 6th podcast at this point. Basically, if enough time passes and there's a little bit of like, if one podcast just kind of ends for a while, and then I kind of start podcasting again, and it's kind of a different group of people or whatever, I just go ahead and call it a new thing and act like it's, because it basically is or whatever, but functionally it's just more podcasts. And so here we go. We'll continue on the road to having 200 podcast episodes or something. I actually don't. I've lost track of where we are and all that. But yeah, send in your options. And then next up on the agenda, we have a vote to do. I'm really good at organizing these little things. We have 2 competing logos. To anonymize them, I'm just going to call them Chalk and Vector, which may not be entirely accurate words for both of them, but it's like good enough to tell you which one you're voting for. Just let me know which logo you prefer by voting via the poll in the description of this video, and that will let us know which one you prefer, because generally speaking, you go with one logo. It's a little weird to have 2 logos. And that'll be the one that shows up in the thumbnails, and I'll probably plop it on the SoundCloud and so on and so forth. Obviously inspired in both cases by Mass Effect for the dialogue wheel and all that. That visual is definitely where we went for what we went for with this particular variation, which is fitting. Big, popular, influential game that, for better and worse, changed dialogue systems and all that. But it's also just a catchy, quick, easy visual to throw in like a recognizable idea if you want to have more than just text and so on. I'm not gonna say anything about the logos because then I could bias the vote or whatever. But go down and vote and send in your messages to the podcast and so on. And I don't know, maybe within a week or so, an episode will have aired. I think we might record this weekend. We're still nailing down exactly when, and I don't really know if we'll stream the podcast or just put them out. I haven't really decided that much ahead of time either. This is all just kind of happening. See you next time.